Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Bhagavatam Bites. I'm sure you all are holding on, white knuckle ride, ready to join in. And here, the brilliant pastimes of the Srimad Bhagavatam is narrated by Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 10.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 10. My Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmananda, wherein one thinks himself merged in the impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Since Brahmananda is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, then what to speak of the temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is ended by the separating sword of time. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. Purport. The transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, primarily from Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, cannot be compared to the happiness derived by karmis by elevating themselves to the heavenly planets, or by jnanis or yogis who enjoy oneness with the Supreme Impersonal Brahman. Yogis generally meditate upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, but devotees not only meditate upon him, but actually engage in the direct service of the Lord. In the previous verse we find the phrase Bhava Bhakti, which refers to birth and death. The Lord can give relief from the chain of birth and death. It is a misunderstanding to think, as do the monists, that when one gets relief from the process of birth and death, he merges into the Supreme Brahman. Here it is clearly said that the transcendental bliss derived from Shravanam Kirtanam by pure devotees cannot be compared to Brahmananda, or the impersonal conception of transcendental bliss derived by merging into the Absolute. So it seems pretty straightforward that if you're going to merge into the Absolute, it can be a bit boring. And the bliss derived from hearing and chanting and having a variegated relationship doesn't compare. Which is actually like what we were discussing today on one course. And we had to pull out emotions related to the pastimes in the Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the devotee I was with, we were pulling out so many variegated emotions just from the pastimes, like there was anger and envy and jealousy and love and fear and happiness, joy, and it was the one pastime, but how everyone's feeding into it, based around Krishna in some form or the other. And we were just saying how that people think, we were actually saying this, that people meditate or try to negate everything, but the irony is, in Krishna consciousness, it's full of emotions, it's full of activity. There's no negating. It's like, we're just pulling out pastimes and just listing the different emotions and the feelings. There was no one was sitting still, no one was blanking out the mind. They couldn't, if that makes sense. It was really interesting, good exercise to do, actually.
Yeah. Bhakti is full of bhav.
Bhakti bhav.
Bhakti bhav. Yeah, there's lots of emotions. It's not, like you said, everything you said.
Okay.
So, next paragraph. The position of karmis is still more degraded. Their aim is to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems. It is said, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Persons who worship the demigods are elevated to the heavenly planets. Not Bhagavad Gita 9.25. But elsewhere in the Gita 9.21 we find Shine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. Those who are elevated to the higher planetary systems must come down again as soon as the results of their pious activities are exhausted. They are like the modern astronauts who go to the moon. Prabhupada's saying they went to the moon here. As soon as their fuel is used up, they are obliged to come back down to this earth. As the modern astronauts who go to the moon or other heavenly planets by force of jet propulsion have to come down again after exhausting their fuel, so also do those who are elevated to the heavenly planets by force of yajnas and pious activities. Antakasi lulitat. By the sword of time, one is cut from his exalted position within this material world. Interesting. Antakasi lulitat. And he comes down again. Dhruva Maharaj appreciated that the results of devotional service are far more valuable than merging into the Absolute or being elevated to the heavenly planets. The words patatam vimanat are very significant. Vimana means airplane. Those who are elevated to the heavenly planets are like airplanes, which drop when they run out of fuel. Patatam vimanat. Interesting. Yeah, again, I think it's Prabhupada is using interesting examples. Those who try to travel in outer space by jet propulsion, they can go so far, but they have to come back because it's not their rightful place to be. They've kind of pushed themselves to get there. And then, the example of the airplane, those who are elevated to the heavenly planets by airplane, so a similar thing. But interesting, Prabhupada says, just like those who by force of yajnas or pious activities go to the heavenly planets, they also will fall down from that position. So, interesting.
Text 11. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the omniscient ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes which are eternally existent. The significant point is Dhruva Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. Transcendental devotional service cannot be complete and cannot be relishable without the association of devotees. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna Consciousness Society and yet engage in Krishna Consciousness is living in a great hallucination, for this is not possible. From this statement by Dhruva Maharaj, it is clear that unless one is associated with devotees, his devotional service does not mature. It does not become distinct from material activities. The Lord says, Satam pasanga mama virya samvido bhavanti rit karna rasayana. Only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to the heart and ear. Dhruva Maharaj explicitly wanted the association of devotees. That association in devotional activities is just like the waves of an incessantly flowing river. In our Krishna Consciousness Society, we have full engagement 24 hours a day. Every moment of our time he is always busily engaged in the service of the Lord. This is called the incessant flow of devotional service. Yeah, it's interesting, this point about being aloof from the devotees and going away over the years. Obviously you meet people that may get upset or disgruntled or this, and it's interesting. I'm not saying loads, I haven't seen loads, but some, that it's sad because they're like, they leave and they say, I'm just going to be by myself, I don't want to be near the temple, the devotees, and you don't see them again, you know, because it's like, it's natural. It's if you're interested in something, some sport or learning some skill or whatever, you go to that. So, you know, you'll go to a college, you'll go to some school, you'll go to the gym or whatever, you go to learn it. You know, if you learn an instrument, you go to the music school, whatever. So it's like, it's natural you're going to flock with those people who, you know, inspire you and teach you, encourage you. And if you come out of that, it's not always easy, especially when you're dealing with the science of Krishna consciousness, to be buoyant alone.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Prabhupada quoted Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks and how we have to stick together, and it's not easy. It's not easy to remain in the association of anyone, to speak of devotees. Families even, you know, supposed to be the most close-knit relationships. There's always rifts and struggles and difficulties, and this one that we don't like, that one that we don't like. We don't want to be, oh no, they're going to be there, oh, you know, all those kind of things are there. Yeah. So what to speak of, you know, and that's quote unquote blood relation. So what to speak of, you come into the association of devotees, and it's such a diverse crowd, and you know, we hear it said time and time again that, you know, I think it's highly unlikely that many of the people I'm around I would even hang out with if I were just in, you know, non-devotional life, you know.
So true.
And I mean, it's quite unlikely I would have even, you know, connected with this one, you know.
No, you wouldn't.
It's like,
I can say that.
Yeah, it's random, you know. So, yeah, so, but it's interesting how, if we do manage to elevate our consciousness to a different platform, then we are able to connect off the bodily platform and more on the devotional platform, and then we can find a deeper attractiveness or a deeper reason for remaining in that association. And Srila Prabhupada, you know, I often share this quote in a letter to Treya Rishi, where he says that the devotees of the Lord are better than kings, all of them, and therefore we should be like the bumblebee and always look for the best qualities in a person. So it's really up to us to try our best to see the best in others, and those that we just simply can't relate with or relate to, it doesn't mean we need to slate them, but we see that, yeah, they have good qualities also, but it's not necessarily my cup of tea. And you know, we have to find those that we can have some some group, like gang, you know, that we can gel with, so like that. This next paragraph, right, in my Bible. Did my page get turned? Yeah, that one. Yeah, I thought I highlighted another thing. Yeah, this is it. Prabhupada says full engagement 24 hours a day. It's Agu Premanandi, yeah. Okay, next paragraph. A Mayavadi philosopher may question us. You may be very happy in the association of devotees, but what is your plan for crossing the ocean of material existence? Dhruva Maharaj's answer is that it is not very difficult. He clearly says that this ocean can be crossed very easily if one simply becomes mad to hear the glories of the Lord. Bhavad Guna Katha. For anyone who persistently engages in hearing the topics of the Lord from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and who is actually addicted to this process, just as one becomes addicted to intoxicants, it is very easy to cross the nescience of material existence. Well, there you go. You just have to become a drunkard or an addict for Krishna, and then it's simple. I guess it's quite interesting, and I'll finish reading it. The ocean of material nescience is compared to a blazing fire, but to a devotee, this blazing fire is insignificant because he is completely absorbed in devotional service. Although the material world is a blazing fire, to a devotee it appears full of pleasure. Vishvam Purna Sukhayate. Interesting. So there we have that dynamic again at the end, that the material world is Maya, is the material energy, but for a devotee actually sees, Prabhupada just said here, sees that the material world is full of pleasure. But it's not pleasure for my senses, it's pleasure for serving Krishna, which is a small, subtle difference, but it's a massive one. The other point was about becoming addicted. And as I was reading that, I was thinking, yeah, because if you think about it, people who are addicts in the material world, drug addicts, let's just use that as an example, they can undergo intense austerity, and they can just not be affected by so many things just because they're driven by this addiction, this desire to get that fix, and they'll do anything. They'll let their bodies deteriorate. The world around them can disintegrate. They'll lie, steal, cheat. They'll do anything to get that fix. So, it makes actually perfect sense. If we become addicted to Krishna, then the material world is like, whatever, just for Krishna, just this and this, I'll do that, and then, so I have to become addicted to Krishna.
The purport of this statement by Dhruva Maharaj is that devotional service in the association of devotees is the cause of the development of further devotional service. By devotional service only is one elevated to the transcendental planet Goloka Vrindavan. And there is only devotional service, for the activities of devotional service both in this world and in the spiritual world are one and the same. Devotional service does not change. The example of a mango can be given here. If one gets an unripe mango, it is still a mango, and when it is ripe it remains the same mango, but it has become more tasteful and relishable. Similarly, there is devotional service performed according to the direction of the spiritual master and the injunctions and regulative principles of Sastra. And there is devotional service in the spiritual world, rendered directly in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are both the same. There is no change. The difference is that one stage is unripe and the other is ripe and more relishable. It is possible to mature in devotional service only in the association of devotees. So, Prabhupada saying here, you need the association of devotees for the development of devotional service, as agreed. And basically, in terms of the example of the mango, it's like once you're on the path, you're on the path. That road is only leading one way, unless you decide to get off the path. If you keep walking on the path, it doesn't come to a T-junction, as it were. You can decide to go somewhere else, but then you're going to fall in the wilderness. Otherwise, that yellow brick road is just going to one place. whether I'm here and you're up there, and someone's over there and someone's behind, don't matter, because we're still on the same road. So just stay on the path.
Okay, thank you very much. I think with that powerful statement at the end, we can conclude.
Okay.
So everyone please stay on the path.
Actually, before we sign off, in the comments when this video is released, which is tomorrow, Friday, I'll put something very nice in the comments in relation to this. I don't know if you read it yet. I put it on the group, but it's a Vyasa Puja offering from one Srila Prabhupada disciple. He was initiated in 1976. I won't spoil it, but it does relate to this. It's so inspiring. It's so faith building what occurred when his wife passed away, and the incidents that occurred when she passed away and post passing away. And it really reinforces what Prabhupada is saying here about just stay on the path, more or less chant Hare Krishna, just follow what he said in the association of devotees, because that's what he says to do. And it's very, very inspiring. Actually, I'll put it in the comments of the video, if that makes sense, the YouTube comments. It is so it may look like a long read, but it's very, very inspiring. So please do read it, and if you read it, you can share some comments on what you thought.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Grantu Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol.